It's America continues with Jim Sharp on USA Radio Networks. Still our guest, here as he is every Friday. Actually, you're more of a hostage today, I think, than a guest. Right? Is Jon Gabriel of Ricochet.com. You can follow him on Twitter at ExJon, ExJon. We already covered race relations here today. It's been a busy week for presidential politics. You had 3 people from the GOP announcing this week.
Yeah, you had Carly Fiorina and Ben Carson both announced the same day, which seems insane to me.
Yeah.
And then a couple days later, our good friend Huckabee, who seems to be running against the Republican Party and against fiscal conservatism. I don't know what his take is exactly, but I hear he has 2% in the polls right now. I heard that earlier today, so look out.
Yeah, wow. It's although I saw an Iowa poll yesterday that has Walker in the lead and Jeb Bush in 6th place, which really surprised me. I guess I guess immigration reform doesn't fly in Iowa. I don't know what that's about. Or is it just because Scott Walker's close by? I'm sorry.
That or Common Core.
Yeah, right. So, I was saying to you during the break that it seems like the Democrats, they have their act together, at least politically, and maybe it's just because of the appointed one, Hillary, I guess. But yeah, to have 2 candidates announced on the same day and another candidate announced the day after, it just kind of you'd think, I want my own day. If you're Carly Fiorina or Ben Carson, especially, you'd be like, I want one day where the public light shines on me. But
yeah, it seems Republicans just aren't very terribly good at branding, and I don't know how they can keep messing this stuff up, especially after getting wiped out by Obama 2 times now. But the way it's shaping up with all the people running, GOP presidential debates are going to need bleachers. I don't know how you can keep everybody separate now. It's just crazy.
Yeah. And you said somebody announced today that they're going to be announcing.
Yes. Fan favorite, Lindsey Graham. The grassroots loves him. Yeah. Lindsey Graham announced that he's going to announce on June 1st. And as I noted on Twitter, that means that it's going to tie up tens of dollars from the George Pataki draft Pataki campaign. Probably.
Where do you come up with this stuff, man? Oh, geez.
Oh, that's awesome. I love the bleachers line. I'm going to steal that one.
Please do.
Yeah, no problem. It's Ben Carson is interesting. Carly Fiorina also interesting. But I don't think either one of them really stand much of a chance. And as you pointed out, Huckabee is like, he's in not only in the single digits, he's below the single digits in the polls, I think, at this point.
Yeah. He's going to, irrational number status, if I remember my math correctly. But it's Carly Fiorina. It just always seems to me like she's running for Veep. And it just kind of has that feel about her campaign. She's actually a pretty impressive speaker, but she's never been elected to anything. Ben Carson, he just really needed to take a couple of years off and figure out what he believed before he ran, because just today he came out for raising the minimum wage. Before that, he's always got these conspiracy theories. Whatever you think about same-sex marriage, he's come up with some real doozies about. He's just not prepared, and he seems like a heck of a great guy. If my kid was sick, I'd like his business card. But
sure,
going for your first office, the presidency, after being a surgeon, that's a bit of a leap, and he just doesn't seem prepared.
Yeah. Now Huckabee's been an executive. He was a governor of Arkansas. So do you think he deserves more of a chance than you're giving him, John?
I would vote for Mike Huckabee if he was running for the office of being the replacement bassist for Foghat. He's perfect for that role. They could play casinos. I'd see him. I'd be in the mosh pit. But president?
Wow.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
not
think
so much.
So.
Who's your favorite as far as policy goes, and then of the declared or potentials, and then who's your favorite? Do you think that's got the best shot at all this?
I think right now, if the vote was today, and he keeps kind of flip-flopping on things, but I would still lean towards Walker just because he's got executive experience and he's made tough choices in, suffered the slings and arrows, A guy I've seen speak a few times, and for that reason I think he has a shot, would be Rubio. He seems really impressive, and it could fall into the back after Truman was president, before him FDR, Republicans were in a wasteland forever, and they just push forward Eisenhower because we just want to win. What does he believe? We don't know. We want to win.
Yeah.
And so I can see a lot of Republicans just saying, wow, charismatic, young, he's like our Obama, and voting for him.
Right.
And that isn't the best reason to vote, but voting is irrational, and you got to be realistic. So those are the two I have my eye on now. But gosh, so much changes week to week.
Yeah, the last two elections have really proven that voting is irrational. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Hey, we should take a moment to recognize those who are still alive. That is the veterans of World War II, because today is VE Day. I've got a little soundbite here from a guy by the name of Ed Blick, a veteran of the Battle of the Bulge, talking about how great it is to see that there are still guys like him around.
It was nice to see some guys from the 4th MT Division, and it's nice to see there are other people still alive.
Yeah, and you're a veteran. You served on a submarine of all things, John.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. This was a couple months ago, but I took my daughter to a burger joint, and I happened to be wearing a Navy shirt with my submarine's name on it. And this old guy, turned out he was about 90. He flagged me down. He was wearing a Navy hat himself and started just talking my ear off. He was turned out he was a Seabee in the Pacific Theater.
Wow.
And so anytime I have the privilege of being around those guys, I just shut up and listen.
Yeah.
So it was pretty amazing. He was there with his daughters, and he was just going on and asking about my duty. It's like, I did nothing. Tell me about yours. I'm just going to shut up and listen, if you don't mind.
Now, did you serve during the Cold War? Is that when you were?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I joined, and the Soviet Union was at its peak, and when I left, they were defeated. So I don't want to take all the credit, but
go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm humble. But,
someday you'll be an old guy at a ceremony, and you'll be like, "It's good to see that there's a few submariners still."
He's very humble. Yes.
Yes, he is.
Just like Moses
Very
said,
proud of my
the most
humility.
humble man ever.
Yeah, I'm the best at being humble of anybody I've ever met.
yeah, I rock the humility.
And also a lot more Hillary fun. By the way, we're talking with Jon Gabriel of Ricochet.com on Twitter at ExJon, ExJon. We played a soundbite yesterday of a State Department press conference where they basically announced that they're not going to review the breaches of the memorandum of understanding that Hillary Clinton signed in order to become Secretary of State, saying that she would, disclose all of the donations to the Clinton Foundation while she was Secretary of State. They basically said, we don't care. We don't care. We're not going to look into this. And then they say that we can't find, there's no wrongdoing. And then there was some reporter there who just kept grilling them. Well, how do you know there was no wrongdoing if you're not investigating this? It's like,
Yeah, and meanwhile, David Petraeus, the greatest general of our age, is standing in front of, a court getting tried for his crimes against the country. It really is disgusting. And the Clintons just seem to skate with all this stuff. I don't know how she gets through the election, but I said that about Obama getting reelected. So what the heck do I know?
Right. Yeah.
But she is just corrupt. One thing about Hillary that's kind of interesting, though, is most of the women of her generation don't like her. They don't like her at all. My mom has passed away. My mom just had never voted for a Republican in her life. And she said that if Hillary was ever nominated, she would just stay home. So,
wow.
and just talking to Democratic women, they just aren't real fans. So she just does not have the charisma of someone like Obama. But boy, the press sure wants to drag her over that goal line.
Yeah, now she may not have the women of her age that are Democrats that want to vote for her, but she sure has related to the youth, hasn't she? I mean, she is.
Oh, yeah, she is down with them. Brings her hover around and passes out Werther's Originals and ribbon candy to everybody. Rubs their hair. It's great.
she wets a tissue with her tongue and then wipes your face.
Man,
does that too hard, bony fingered pinch into the cheeks. Yeah.
Ow. Torture.
Yeah, she is everybody's white grandma. That's what's so awesome. Yeah. That's what's so awesome. All right. Well, John, always love your stuff, both on Twitter and on Ricochet.com, where you can find Jon Gabriel. Will you come back next week, or are you getting too big now that Rush Limbaugh mentioned you?
I'd be honored to be back.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. Have a great weekend, my friend. And it's Happy Mother's Day to Angela.
All right. I will tell her that.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care. It is America Continues, and that continues just on the other side. Loretta Lynch heading to Baltimore. We'll drill down on that, and a little later on, a New York cop laid to rest. What a complete and utter loss. And we've got a Russian spacecraft that no longer, it just ceased to exist. We'll explain coming up on America Continues here on USA Radio Networks.